Hi everyone, my name is Kate. Welcome back to my wondernetting channel, and today we'll crochet with you a baby bodysuit. It's finally time for baby tutorials. This is bodysuit that we're gonna crochet today with you, the tutorial for the collar. You can find in my previous video. It's super easy to make. Not only for your baby, but maybe for yourself or maybe for your pet. So the bodysuit without collar looks like this. You can make it with embroidery, you can make it without embroidery, up to you. I'll share with you sizing charts so you can crochet this bodysuit not only for newborn, but also for grown-up little ones. As some of you know, I recently moved to Spain, and one of my biggest goals has been learning Spanish. At first it felt overwhelming between my daily life, pregnancy, content creation and everything else, and I didn't think I could find time to learn properly. That's when I started using Rosetta Stone. Thank you, Rosetta Stone, for sponsoring this video. Rosetta Stone has been helping people learn languages for over 30 years. Their dynamic immersion method makes you think in your new language instead of just memorizing words. It's the same way we learned as kids. One feature I love is true accent speech recognition. It listens to how I pronounce words and gives me instant feedback. So even as a beginner, I feel more confident speaking with locals here in Spain. Another favorite is how flexible the lessons are. Some are just 5 minutes long, so I can practice while I'm on the train or while I'm cooking or walking. Yes, while I'm walking, because audio companion let me keep learning on the go. And it's not just about lessons. You can read stories, join live lessons with tutors, and even use phrase books before you travel. It really builds skills for real-world conversations, not just walk-up drills. Rosetta Stone works on both the web and the mobile app, so whether I'm at my desk or I'm just laying on my bed, I can always continue my learning without missing a bit. So if you've been wanting to reach your language goals, Rosetta Stone has an amazing offer right now. With my link in the description, you can get 60% off lifetime subscription. Means you'll have access to all 25 languages forever. So go to the link in the description, get your lifetime access with 60% off, and start your language journey today. So let's back to crochet. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and leave your comment. What do you think about this little bodysuit? Your comments, likes help other people to see this video too. I'll appreciate that. So let's get started. We will need 2 skeins of yarn. I'm using Merino Decay Bella Coco from Hobby. It's a really soft wool yarn, perfect for a chilly autumn. Each skein is 50 grams, 165 meters. We'll also need 3.5 millimeters hook, some stitch markers and scissors. To start, make a chain of 5 or however many you'd like, depending on how wide you want your ribbing. I'll be making chain of 5. Next, we'll crochet simple ribbing using single crochets in the back loop only. Starting from the second loop from the hook, work a row of single crochets, then chain 1, turn your work, and again start in the second stitch from the hook, but always working into the back loop only. And you'll keep repeating this until your ribbing measures the size you need. Fold it in half, based on your baby's age. Since I'm making mine for a newborn, I'll be crocheting a ribbing that's 11 centimeters long. On the other side of the ribbing, insert your hook into the very first stitch, grab the loop from the other edge and pull it through. Then insert your hook into the next stitches on both sides, but on the far side, go only through the back loop. And make slip stitch. Continue slip stitching all the way across. We are not cutting the yarn here because we'll keep working from this point. As you can see, the ribbing has a really nice stretch. Now make chain of 3 with that loop that we left. This chain of 3 counts as our first stitch. Next, we are going to keep working with double crochets, 1 into each row of the ribbing. To do this, find the next row on the ribbing, right here in that free loop at the edge, and make a double crochet. In total, you should end up with the same number of double crochets as the number of rows you made in the ribbing. In my case, that's 60 double crochets. Now we need to grab some stitch markers and divide the stitches for the front, the back and 2 sleeves. For the newborn size, I'm going to leave 17 stitches for the back, 17 stitches for the front and 13 stitches for each sleeves. That gives me 60 stitches that I have on my ribbing. Of course, you can also take however many rows you have in your ribbing and divide them evenly between the back, the front and the 2 sleeves. It really depends on the length of your ribbing around the neckline. Just make sure to leave fewer stitches for the sleeves than you do for the front and the back. Including the first chain of 3, we're going to count 17 double crochets for the front and place marker in the 17th stitch. From the next stitch, count 13 double crochets and place a marker in the 13th. From the next stitch, count 13 double crochets and place a marker in the 13th. This will be the sleeve. Then count another 17 stitches for the back and mark the 17th. Finally, count 13 stitches again for the second sleeve and place a marker there. Now chain 3 and turn your work. Like I mentioned before, those 3 chains already count as our first double crochet. Then just keep working double crochets until you reach the first marker. I worked my first 13 double crochets. Since we turned our work, the first section here is sleeve. In the 13th stitch, we are going to make another double crochet into the same stitch, then chain 1, and into that very same stitch, work 2 more double crochets. So this is where our raglan lines will start to form. 2 double crochets, chain 1 and 2 double crochets all in the same stitch. After that, keep working regular double crochets until you reach the next marker, and when you get there, you'll repeat the exact same combination. After the raglan line, I worked 17 double crochets. In the 17th stitch, I'm making another double crochet, then chain 1 and 2 more double crochets into the same stitch. That gives us the second raglan line. This is how it looks. From here, just keep crocheting around, making the same raglan lines wherever you have your markers. You should see little corners forming in those spots where we've created the raglan lines. Once you finish the round, join with the slip stitch into the 3rd chain of your starting chain, then chain 3, turn your work and continue with double crochets until you reach that chain space from the raglan line, the little gap we made with chain 1. This is the chain from the previous row. In this chain we are going to repeat the same combination for the raglan line. 2 double crochets, chain 1 and 2 more double crochets all in the same chain. After that, continue working your double crochets as usual. Don't forget to also work into this stitch immediately after this chain. So all the way around in each of these little gaps, we repeat the same combination to form the raglan lines. Actually, that's all for now. We'll keep working the raglan lines in each row until we're ready to join them under the arms. That's when we'll shape the sleeves and the body. So go ahead and work as many rows as you need. We start each row the same way with chain of 3, turn the work and make the raglan lines in the chains from the previous row. For different sizes, you'll crochet for a different number of centimeters. You'll see on the screen how long your raglan lines should be. I worked about 9-10 rows. Actually, you could make fewer rows. I'm just telling you this after the fact because I've already finished my bodysuit, so it's better to use an existing bodysuit as a reference if you have one. Measure your finished garment for guardians. I don't have any bodysuits at the moment, so I'm just estimating as I go. Right now, the width of the body I've made is about 19.5 centimeters, and the raglan lines themselves are 9 centimeters. Next, we are going to join the body and leave the space for the arms. Before that, we start the row as usual and work until we reach the first raglan line, right here at the sleeve. I worked up to the chain, and now I take the other side, fold it like this next to the first, and continue working after the chain. I'm just keeping on with double crochets. This way we've closed the round for the sleeve. From here, just keep working in rounds as usual, turning each row for as many rows as you need. If you want long sleeves, crochet longer. If you want short sleeves, crochet shorter. After you've worked the sleeve to the length you want and making a very short sleeve, just about 3 rows, we'll add the ribbing. To make the ribbing, chain a number of stitches depending on how wide you want it on the sleeve. I'm chaining about 7 loops. Then, starting from the second loop from the hook, work 6 single crochets down the chain. Once we worked 6 single crochets down, make a slip stitch in the next stitch and another slip stitch into the following stitch. Turn your work and without chaining, in the third stitch from the hook, work into the back loop only, make 6 single crochets up. Then chain 1, turn your work, in the second loop from the hook, make 6 single crochets down again. After that, make a slip stitch into the next stitch and another slip stitch into the following stitch. Turn your work and repeat the same steps. In the third stitch from the hook, work into the back loop, make 6 single crochets up. This is how we'll continue working the ribbing all the way around. Now I'll show you how to start the second sleeve and later how to join the ribbing. To start the second sleeve, attach a new yarn right here in the stitch just before the chain. Chain 3. And insert your hook on the other side after the chain. Then continue working the sleeve as usual in the same way so that the join will be right under the arm. This is what I have so far. Now we're going to join the ribbing on the sleeves. To join the ribbing, insert your hook from the wrong side under this loop and on the other side, grab the loop and pull it through. Like this. Then insert the hook through the front loop only and make a slip stitch. Continue making slip stitches until the end. At the end, chain 1 and cut the yarn. This is what I have so far. Now we need to continue working on the body. The body I've made turned out a bit wide, so I'm going to shape it to reach this size for a newborn. I could have stopped working the sleeves a couple of rows earlier, but I decided to do a few decreases under the arms and then continue crocheting downwards once the body reaches the right width. So if your body also turned out a little wider, you can do the same, make decreases under the arms. Here's the width the bodysuit should be for different sizes. To start working the body, I'll begin from the back, right here under the arm, after the chain from the Raglan line. Insert your hook into the double crochet stitch, chain 3, which counts as our first double crochet, and then continue working double crochets until you reach the next sleeve. Once we reach the next sleeve, we don't work into the chain. Instead, look at the first row of the sleeve. In the middle of that stitch, make 2 double crochets. Do the same on the other side in the corresponding row. We do this so there aren't any big holes here. Then continue working double crochets as usual. On the other side, do the same. Then join the row, make chain of 3, turn your work, and in the next row we're gonna make decreases, if you need it. As I mentioned, I need to decrease the body a little, so it measures 19 centimeters here. Right now, the body is about 21.5 centimeters, which is too wide. If your measurements are already correct, you don't need to make any decreases, just continue crocheting down to the length you want. We'll do decreases only under the arms for a few rows. After that, we'll stop decreasing and continue working straight rows downward. We're going to make 2 decreases in a row using double crochets that are right under the arm. You can see them clearly. First we'll decrease these 2 stitches, then the next 2 stitches. And do the same on the other side too. So first decrease, yarn over, insert your hook into the stitch, grab the yarn, pull it out, crochet on the first 2 loops. Then yarn over again, insert the hook into the next stitch, crochet first 2 loops, then 3 together. It's our first decrease. Then the second decrease, make the same way. Like this. Then continue crocheting as usual double crochets until we reach the next stitches under the arms right here. I worked up to the next stitches under the arm and I'm making 2 decreases in a row here as well. The same way. Then I finish the round as usual, chain 3, and in the next round we'll make decreases again. We'll work into the stitch before the decrease from the previous round and then into the next 2 stitches. Watch carefully as you do this. Here you can see the wider stitches. These are the decreases from the previous row. Now I'll make a decreases into the stitches before that previous decrease and then immediately make a second decrease. On the other side, find the decreases under the arm. They look visually different because they are wider than the regular double crochets, and make the decreases there as well. You can use stitch markers if that makes it easier. I've reached the end of the row and as you can see, there are only 3 stitches left. We need 4 to make 2 decreases. So we make the first decrease as usual, and for the second decrease, we don't finish the last double crochet all the way. Instead, we immediately join with a slip stitch into the third loop of the starting chain, and then pull the first loop through the 2 loops on the hook like this. This is how we complete the second decrease. Chain 3 and turn your work. In the next row we follow the same principle for the decreases. All decreases are worked under the arms. Since our starting chains are already positioned above the decrease from the previous row, we'll make a decrease at the end of this row. Turn your work, make the first decrease, and the second decrease on this side will be at the end of the row. Then continue crocheting as usual, and under the second sleeve make decreases with these 4 stitches just as I showed you. At the end, don't finish the last double crochet, join with the slip stitch into the third loop of the starting chain and pull the first loop through the remaining 2 stitches. This completes a second decrease on this side. Chain 3, turn your work, and check that the body has reached the width you want. I'll probably do another row of decreases, and after that I'll just continue crocheting straight down. Now I'm working the last row with decreases. I've turned my work, and here we need to make decrease right at the start of the row. To do this, chain 2 instead of 3, then make regular double crochet in the next stitch. These 2 chains plus the first double crochet will count as the decrease. After that, continue crocheting as usual, making decreases under the arms. At the end of the row, do the same decrease with the last 2 stitches, join the round, and from here on, crochet all rows straight down without any decreases until you reach the desired length. I'll tell you exactly how long that should be. I've crocheted the length I need. We measure from the underarm to the bottom. You can see the sizes on the screen. Next, we'll shape the bottom of the body by working decreases. First, cut the yarn and place the stitch markers right at the center sides of the body. Make sure you have the same number of stitches at the front and the back. We'll start by working the back first. For the stitch markers we placed, join the yarn in the next stitch after the marker as usual and begin the row with decrease. To do this, chain only 2, then make double crochet in the next stitch. As I mentioned before, these 2 chains plus the first double crochet count as the decrease. Continue crocheting as usual until you reach the last 2 stitches before the next marker. Work a decrease with these last 2 stitches as well. In the next row, we also start with a decrease. Chain 2, turn your work and make double crochet into the next stitch. This counts as the first decrease. At the end of the row, work a decrease with the 2 last stitches as well. I worked 2 rows with 1 decrease at the beginning and at the end of each row. Starting from the next row, I'll begin working 2 decreases at the beginning and 2 decreases at the end of each row. I'll continue doing this until the bottom of the body reaches the width I want. I've crocheted down to the width I want, but the height of my body should be about 33-34 centimeters, so I'll work a few more rows without any decreases, just straight rows down. At the very end I'll chain 1 and cut the yarn. To work straight rows down, chain 3. These 3 chains already count as the first double crochet, so in the next stitch continue working double crochets as usual. Chain 3, turn your work, and work the next row without any decreases. At the end of each row, don't forget to crochet into these chains from the previous row because they also count as a stitch. I've reached the length I need. Now we'll start working the front of the body. We begin at the stitch markers we placed earlier and join the yarn just like before. There's a small difference here. We start by working 2 decreases in a row at the beginning and work 2 rows this way. 2 decreases at the beginning and 2 decreases at the end of each row. I've made 2 rows with decreases, 2 decreases at the beginning and 2 decreases at the end of each row. For the next rows, we'll work 3 decreases at the beginning and 3 at the end of each row. Continue this until the front matches the width of the back, or until you have the same number of stitches. You can adjust your decreases to reach the exact stitch count you need. For example, in the last row, I'll probably do 2 decreases at the beginning and 2 decreases at the end so that the stitch count of the front matches the back. But this isn't strictly necessary because we'll be adding ribbing at the bottom, which will also add some width. I work the front about 2 rows shorter than the back so that later we can add buttons, and this way you can fasten it either at the front or at the back. Now we'll make the ribbing in the same way we did for the sleeves. Actually, you didn't need to cut the yarn, but I did. It's not a problem. We'll be working upward along the entire bottom edge of the body. We'll crochet along the rows sideways. As I mentioned earlier, 1 row counts as 2 stitches. So for each row at the bottom, we will work 2 stitches. So chain 5 or however many you need. Then work down with single crochets, 4 single crochets down. Make a slip stitch in the same row because 1 row counts as 2 stitches, and into the next row. Turn your work, then crochet upward from the third loop from the hook through the back loop only. Then chain 1, then back down again with slip stitches through the back loop only. Then back down again into the same row, because there's still a loop here, and then into the next row. Continue this way until you've worked around the entire bottom of the body. So we are making ribbing the same way we did for the sleeves. At the very end, all that's left is to join the ribbing. We join it in the same way we did on the sleeves, hide all the ends, and the basic bodysuit is ready. Of course, you can add bottoms at the bottom. This is how the plain bodysuit looks with a collar, which, as I mentioned, has its own tutorial in my previous video. If you want to make the bodysuit more interesting, you can add embroidery. Here's how it looks with embroidery. I think it looks really charming this way, especially because the embroidery is done in the same color as the bodysuit. The embroidery is very simple to do. Just follow along as I demonstrated in the video. It might be a little hard to explain with words alone. At the end, make a few knots and hide the yarn among the stitches. And here's the beautiful bodysuits we've made, with or without the collar. It looks wonderful, really perfect. This is my first bodysuit for the baby. I think the next ones will be a bit easier once we're more familiar with sizing. And for now, leave your comments and tell me what do you think about this bodysuit. I'd love to read them. I thank you for watching this video. I'm sure you did it well. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments or DM me on my Instagram. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye, kitties!